So Nissan is being, well, Nissan yet again. Nissan has just revealed the brand new 2024 Nissan GTR, which is all new.
Are you serious right now, bruh?
But if you haven't already, just please subscribe down below to help me achieve my dream of becoming a successful YouTuber. I make all types of content on this channel, from everything from car reviews, vlogs to my personal opinions, to redesigning cars, to short videos, and even informative videos. So basically every single thing a car guy would want in a YouTube channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified every single time I make a new video. But the new GTR has just been revealed at the Tokyo Auto Saloon of 2023. Now, I don't think anybody expected a new GTR to come, but it's not really new because, well, first of all...
Well, I don't even have to say first of all because that's what the entire video is about.
So the first problem I have with the new GTR is, well, its existence. Now, if you didn't know already, last year in 2022, I can't believe I'm already saying that, but last year in 2022, Nissan discontinued the GTR, and they were being serious about it. Until they weren't. So the GTR is back for the 2024 model year, so there was no 2023 model year for the GTR, so...
You get what you get and you don't pitch a fit.
But you know what? I am going to pitch a fit anyway because Nissan really needs to get their game together. They have enough funding. They definitely do with all the models they're producing, especially with like their crossover Nissan Rogue. That's selling like hotcakes. I see them literally every single like road I drive on. It's ridiculous. For years now, people have wanted a Nissan GTR R36 generation, and if you don't know, the current generation is called the R35, and that car has been around for 16 years. That is literally almost as old as me. That means the GTR, if it was a person, which it's not, it would be able to get its full license. Just think about that for a second now. If it was a major update, I wouldn't really be that mad about it, but most JDM fanboys, they would be like,
oh, at least it's not an electric GTR.
Who cares? We wanted an R36, and Nissan thinged up again. But all the JDM fanboys wanted an R36, and so did us general car enthusiasts, but Nissan really Nissan things up again. And that is milking another car for another model year when we wanted something different, but returning the exact same thing. Which moves me on to my second point of why the new GTR is... We don't have any engine changes, and we don't have any new interior things. Well, so far, that's what we know. But we do know for the new Nismo trim and the new T-Spec trim is that we have new carbon fiber bucket seats that are just going to break your back. So think of this, it's a 2024 model, and we haven't really gotten any major significant power upgrades for the Nissan GTR. This thing is supposed to be Godzilla, but it really can't be called Godzilla when it can't even keep up with the Porsche Turbo S, which it used to dominate back then when it was first revealed like 16 years ago. 16 years. That thing was only like $70,000 back in the day when it first got revealed, and it really used to just dominate literally everything that it was put up against in terms of handling and especially acceleration. That's where the GTR really shined. But as the years started to progress, it started to get a little behind while everything else was going forward. The tuning potential on these cars is still insane, and it will still remain the same for the 2024 model year, but we want more horsepower from the factory. That doesn't mean it has to cost like $120,000 for a Nissan. For the standard price of this car that most people will get will probably be optioned to around $150,000, and then the Nismo comes along, and that's going to get even worse. And it's not exactly the lightest thing or the most best handling thing. That's not even a real term. What I'm trying to say, it's not the best handling car for that price range. Like, you can get a Lotus Emira fully spec'd, even like modify that thing like crazy. Let's see, you can get a Corvette Z06, which has 670 horsepower, 5.5 liter naturally aspirated V8. Sounds better than any Ferrari, except for the 488 Novitec. That Ferrari is the best sounding Ferrari ever made besides the V12s. And then you can just get the Z07 package on that car and then just make it like a freaking beast while still looking way better than the GTR R35. In my opinion, just tell me your opinion down in the comments below which one you would prefer, but I would definitely prefer the Corvette Z06 because, well, it just looks better, it's way faster in a straight line, theoretically, and it also sounds a lot better. But now let's move on to my third point of why the new GTR is so disappointing, and that is the design. They try to make it look like an R34 GTR. If you just want to make it look like an R34 GTR, why don't you make an all-new GTR, the R36? People have been wanting the R36 for so long, and it made so many renders that are based on the legendary R34, but honestly, I prefer the R32 to the R34. I am 110% sure that the head of Nissan has seen some of these renders made by fans of the R36 GTR, and the GTR has been around so long. I think this is one of the longest production running cars in the history of the car industry, and who knows how long they're going to milk it for. But let's get back to the design. The design is
this?
Oh my gosh, the 2017 looks so much better.
It literally looks like they put a body kit in the front, which doesn't make sense. They essentially just put a giant front bar to sort of separate the front and the top and the bottom grille. They had this sort of in the first generation GTR, but as the years progressed and as the facelifts and the newer models started to come, they made the grille even bigger, which kind of suits the GTR. It's supposed to have a giant, big, aggressive grille, not some sort of puny little small grille. The GTR is supposed to be childish, not sophisticated and beautiful. It was never really a beautiful car. And now, before I say my biggest problem with the GTR's design, the 2024 model, I just want to talk about the front, and there's this very little detail that I absolutely hate, and that are these hexagonal sort of like lights in the bottom. It's way better than those little like dots you had, which look super outdated in the old Nissan GTR. But why hexagonal shapes? That doesn't make any sense. Nissan has nothing to do with hexagonal shapes. Hexagonal shapes are already like sort of taken by Lamborghini, and then it's just protruding out of the bumper, which makes it look less clean. Like, they try to make the front bumper portions of the grille like cleaner with that little bar that just ruins the front, honestly, in my opinion. They tried to do the less is more strategy, but less is worse because less is more in this case. I really hope that did make sense, but I know it didn't. But before I get onto the second part of what I wanted to say about my biggest problem with the GTR's design, I just wanted to talk about that little V shape in the front that you have right on the hood, which matched up perfectly with the body lines, which looked fantastic. That V shape is a trademark for Nissan, and now they just did this weird little fin thing that goes all the way down to the bottom portion of the grille. It still lines up with those hood lines and makes some sort of line flow, but getting rid of the V shape is such a bad decision in my opinion, because it honestly just kind of looks like a Mustang in the top portion of the grille, except way smaller. And honestly, the top portion of the grille doesn't make any sense. But now let's talk about my biggest issue with the new GTR's design. Now, I do want to talk about the Nismo variant, and we'll talk about that right after, but let's just say the rear. And the rear is so, I mean, it's not a bad looking rear end, but the only problem I have with the rear end mainly, I mean, I don't really like this inverted sort of like mouth for the license plate area. And speaking of the taillights, that's my biggest problem, because they still use those same freaking old light bulbs that look so outdated, and it's a 2024 model. We have giant LEDs. But now let's talk about the Nismo, which honestly, it's not that bad. Like, the normal GTR, it's just terrible in my opinion, but the Nismo isn't that bad, especially from the rear. I do like the new wing that they have on it in carbon fiber, but the front, I hate that giant rectangular shape that they have in the front. Now, everybody complained when the new BMW M2 debuted with those shapes. The GTR isn't a boxy car. It never has been. It's always been sort of curvy and weird shaped, and the grille just doesn't look aggressive because it's so much smaller, and it just doesn't look like childish anymore. And the GTR is supposed to be childish. Its name is literally Godzilla. But you know what is real? The Nissan GTR. And you know what's not real?
The Nissan R36.
But that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, please give it a like and subscribe down below if you haven't already, because it is my dream to become a successful YouTuber. I make all types of content on this channel, from everything from car reviews, vlogs, to my personal opinions, to redesigning cars, to short videos, and even informative videos. So basically every single thing a car person would want in a YouTube channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below again, and turn on post notifications so you can be notified every single time I make a new video. But again, comment down below your opinion on the brand new Nissan GTR. Nissan, you need to get your game together. But I do hope to see you in a future video, and bye for now.
Please subscribe. Lol, I have big dreams on YouTube.
Nissan thinged up again. Nissan things up again. Okay, yeah.